Hey guys, thank you for tuning back in. On our previous video, we discussed two lower odds teams that could win the World Series. This video, I will go over two long shots that I promised, or let's say the two dark horse teams that I think could win the World Series in 2023 if all goes right for them. Go check that last video if you haven't yet. But let's get started. The first team that I like, that I think could win the World Series, is the St. Louis Cardinals. MGM and FanDuel has them at plus 2,000. Basically 20 to 1 odds. So some key additions that they had were Steven Matz, Jordan Montgomery from the Yankees, which they acquired during the trade deadline last year. So we will include them there because I have for the full year. And Wilson Contreras, which is a big addition, one of probably the top 5 catchers in baseball at the moment. Key losses they had were Jose Quintana, which obviously they replaced with Matthew Montgomery. Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols. I mean, those are two big veteran guys, leadership in the team. So that may hurt a little bit in the clubhouse, but they still have Adam Wainwright. They have guys like Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado there that could take over that leadership over in St. Louis. So I don't think that'll hurt them too much. Yeah, Pujols, Molina, they lost those guys, but I think they'll be fine with the leadership with Goldschmidt, Arenado, even Contreras, and Adam Wainwright. Looking at their lineup, looks like they have Tommy Edman, Tyler O'Neill, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Wilson Contreras. Those top 5 right there. I think that's a pretty good top 5. Edman, especially with the new bases that we have, will probably steal 30 bases, 40 bases, maybe. We'll have to see. And they have Lars Nootbaar, and then they have Jordan Walker as a DH. Now, Jordan Walker is top 5, top 10 prospect in baseball right now, but I don't know if they're going to bring him up just to be a DH. I don't think I see the Cardinals doing that. So I'm going to replace him with either Juan Yepes or Nolan Gorman to DH, and I think Jordan Walker will get called up later on in the season, maybe towards the end of the first month of the season, and maybe he can get a regular position out in the outfield. And then they have Brendan Donovan in the 8th spot and Dylan Carson in the 9th spot. The rotation, Jack Flaherty. I think a big key to this team is a healthy Jack Flaherty. I believe he's a free agent after this season. If he can come back and pitch like he did the first couple of years in the majors, I think that's a big thing for this team. But then they have Miles Mikolas, which is a solid, kind of like a Chris Bassett guy for the Blue Jays. Jordan Montgomery, Steven Matz as a 4, and then you have Woodford as a 5. Until Wainwright comes back because he got injured during spring training. He'll probably miss a couple weeks here during the first month of the season. Their bullpen, it's pretty good. Helsley, Gallegos at the end of that bullpen. Jordan Hicks, maybe if he can get back to what he was when he was first called up for the Cardinals, I think their bullpen could be pretty good for this year. So I was looking at this team to see what kind of depth they had, any depth of importance or that could really help out the team. And like we mentioned above, was Jordan Walker. I don't think he's going to make the team unless he has a regular position out of spring training, but he was the number 4 prospect in baseball. He has shown out in the minors. He hit over 300 both seasons he has played in the minors, over 25 doubles both of those seasons, 14 and 19 home runs with 14 and 22 stolen bases. So this is a 5-tool player. With those new bases, he could probably steal 20 bases at least every season. Maybe if he could hit 20 home runs, 20 guy, I think that's pretty good kid that the Cardinals have there. And then I was looking at the team to see what other players they have that they could possibly use to make a trade during the trade deadline. The only player I could think of was Mason Wynn, shortstop. I'm sure you've seen around, the guy that has thrown 100 miles per hour across the infield, first base. I think he's a long shot to get traded because the Cardinals don't usually trade their top prospects like that. But I think he could be a good piece to maybe get somebody at the trade deadline to help him push him over the edge if they need it. Now let's move on to the second team. I think this team, plus 4,000 odds from BetGM and FanDuel, the Los Angeles Angels. Now, we saw what Trout and Ohtani did in the World Baseball Classic, right? two best players in baseball. Obviously, when Trout is healthy. I mean, they added. We're gonna count Rendon because they're gonna have a full year of Rendon. Rendon is healthy now. Hopefully, he can stay healthy for the rest of the year. They added Brandon Drury to that infield to go play second base. They added Hunter Renfroe to the outfield to finish out the outfield with Taylor Ward, Mike Trout, and they added Gio Urshela. I think this is an interesting one because I had heard rumors when this happened that maybe he was going to be their shortstop. I don't think Urshela is the best defensive shortstop, but I think it's enough, especially if he can hit for them. Maybe hit 280, 270, 20 home runs, 15, 20 home runs. I think that could work for them. They haven't, I don't remember the last time the Angels had a good shortstop. So I know they're giving David Fletcher the opportunity to play that position. I think Fletcher had like one good year, second base a couple years ago. Maybe if he gets back to that type of season, maybe Urshela would just stay on the bench and would just kind of be insurance policy for Anthony Rendon if he gets injured. But I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. They also acquired Carlos Estevez, which looks like he's going to be their closer to start out the season. And then they added Tyler Anderson to their pitching rotation. Key losses, Brandon Marsh. I don't know if you would count that as key. He was a good center fielder, defensive center fielder, but now we have Trout back. They got Hunter Renfroe. Hunter Renfroe can go play right field, so I'm sure they won't miss that a lot. Probably Noah Syndergaard replaced him with Tyler Anderson pretty much, and then you have Archie Bradley, which was replaced with Carlos Estevez. So I think they actually won the off season. I mean, compared to other teams, they may be the team that improved the most for the 2023 season. So looking at the rotation, you got Ohtani, Patrick Sandoval, which pitched great in the WBC for Team Mexico, Tyler Anderson, then you got Reed Detmers and Jose Suarez. That back end of the rotation may be a little questionable, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. They got three lefties. I think actually Jose Suarez may be a lefty too, so they have four lefties in the rotation. But I'm sure they can find something else at the trade deadline or from their minor league depth if they need it. Now, any minor leaguers that could come up and help, Jo Adell. I think Jo Adell has been disappointing in the chances he's gotten at the MLB level. He had some good minor league seasons. He's a former top 10 prospect in MLB back in 2020. His swing has not translated over, though. I think he definitely needs to overhaul the swing, in my opinion. I know he's made a few changes. I think he went from a leg kick to a toe tap. But I mean, the tools are there for him to come up and help. He just has to put it together and just hasn't been able to. Heck, maybe they can use him as a trade piece in the trade deadline if they need a little push for this year. And I think another piece that the Angels have that could really come up and help them this year is Ben Joyce, former University of Tennessee relief pitcher, closer for them, throws 105 miles an hour. He was drafted by the Angels in 2022 in the third round. And I think he could really come up and help them this year if they need it, and if Ben Joyce produces well in the minor leagues. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please leave a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with these two picks or who you think is another team that's a dark horse for the 2023 season.